us on our social media platforms at High Impact 10.
Okay. Repetition.
Boring. But this frequency modulation
102.1 FM
has opened multiple umbrellas to shield you from it all.
Cheer.
Step under the umbrella of the Morning Impact Show and explore a world of morning informations, metro stories, newspaper review, sports in a jiffy, conversations of the day, and games. Move over to the umbrella of the Hey Midday Show and get familiar with the FFO Canteen, the Game Room, social media trends, Movie Box, and Volumes Up.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way
under my umbrella.
Or you can slide under the umbrella of Just Before Dark and the Drop Down and acquaint yourself with new music on Ville, Sports Hub, Techville, Auto Hub, Airplay 10, and so much more. On weekends, we've still got you covered.
Under my umbrella.
The Wavy Weekend, Saturday OK Show, The Rave, The Weekend Wind Down, The Gospel Effect Show, and Sunday Underway. High Impact 102.1 FM will take you to the highest heights with the hottest hits, the juiciest information, and accurate news. With this frequency modulation, it's a whole new vibe. Your ears are perfectly safe on our airwaves.
Under my
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. The newspaper review is the show which you are listening to. Welcome to the show. In case you are just joining us, well, we are just getting started. You can always be part of the conversation. Call us on 0704-425-2109, 0704-425-2109, or reach us via WhatsApp and the text message route on 0907 224 5018, 0907 224 5018. The Vanguard newspaper is the first story which we'll be looking at today, and it has a special report on them, and it says how lives get wasted daily on Nigeria's highways of horror. That's a special report in case you want to find out what Vanguard is really talking about on this one, but it gives us an insight on what it will be talking about on that special report with a couple of riders. It says here, horrible federal roads in Cross River, over 150 burned to death, 100 vehicles wrecked in rivers, North highways, frequent disasters, death, lamentations in Southwest, federal roads of frequent auto crashes in Southeast, FG doing its best to fix road infrastructure. That's according to the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi. And every Nigerian know how bad the road networks are. And so this special report, I think, is one that is coming in an apt time, And you can go to most federal roads that are leading to different states in Nigeria, and you won't find some sort of horrible infrastructure in place. Roads that should not even be in rural environments are major roadway to other states. If you're someone who travel by road and you've been to different parts of Nigeria, you will understand how messy the road is. Going to the east, horrible. Going to the north, disastrous. Going to the south, the same thing. And so you wonder sometimes why why it is that way. What exactly is the problem? Not to say the government is not doing their best to fix infrastructures, as David Umahi here has said. They are doing their best. But at what pace? At what pace are they doing it? How many federal roads in Nigeria can you beat your chest and say these roads are immaculate? How many of them?
Or have been completed since this admission took over?
Well, that's another ball game altogether. And you just understand that we have so much more that we need to do. Not only, building these roads, but also having the maintenance culture to keep them standard for years and years to come. We have situations whereby some roads have been built but have not been rehabilitated since they were constructed. And you go to those roads, potholes, and for you to fix those roads now, you just have to bring out similar money that was used in making the road altogether, because it has been left to
unattended
to, and it's now dilapidated to an extent whereby you have to virtually do something new
and every morning.
Man, other stories you find on the Vanguard newspaper this morning, you get to see videos, I beg your pardon, pictures, we're talking about papers here, pictures of the funeral service for late Pa Edwin Clark. So in case you want to find out who are those on the picture, I'm seeing here on the front page the ex-president in person of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, his wife Dame Patience Jonathan, and so all the persons are right here on the front page. So you need to go look at the Vanguard newspaper for you to find out who those people are. Underneath it, unending crisis, PDP in ICU may die. Ex-Benue Governor Suswam, PDP in ICU may die. This is coming from the ex-Benue Governor Suswam. You find this story on page 8. In case for those people who do not know what ICU means, it means intensive care unit in the hospital. So it means they're on life support. And if the plug just gets pulled out, it might collapse. And the question now is, who exactly is the plug that is still keeping the PDP alive? Or who exactly is the plug that is making it ill at the moment?
As it is right now, God did his plug.
Okay. God has nothing to do with this one, man. Reps reject bills on national presidency. INEC powers to register political parties. I take this one more time. Reps reject bills on rotational presidency. INEC's power to register political parties. There were bills which was on the table yesterday, which has to do with rotational presidency to all geopolitical zones and different kinds of bills that were together. It was rejected yesterday, but although the reps still talked about, looking at all of the bills individually and weighing them on their merit. So, and that will be done today when they meet. So,
at the plenary.
So I guess there's still going to be more stories about these particular bills that were rejected yesterday. So let's wait for updates and we'll get to talk more about that one. Let's not jump the gun yet. Beside the images this morning, Lamido to Tinubu, pay Abiola's family 45 billion naira federal government owes him. That story you find on page 40. Underneath it, Lagos LG pools protest rocks Agege over alleged imposition of candidate. That story you find on page 10. We spoke about this yesterday and how, like, I basically was for more. Where is the proof? There needs to be proof that something like this happened. I'm certain in the Nigeria of today, where if there was like an imposition, it means probably there were no voting, which we know how the primaries are done. It means probably there was no voting and the person was brought up on stage and just imposed. Are you saying no one made videos? Are you saying no one?
I'm not even sure there's any local government that during their primaries anyone went unopposed. I'm not sure there's anyone.
So everybody was.
There was definitely a poll.
There was a poll. Are you sure?
So
if no one went unopposed, is there a poll then? Because
I'm just stating. I'm not sure there's any local government or any LCDA where we had an unopposed candidate.
Okay,
There was definitely a primary and there was a poll.
Okay,
So
now I get
the
you.
reason for imposition is what is still a little bit dicey right now. Why they are using the word imposition?
Well, they are the party people. They are the ones protesting. It will be important. They provide proof for us to now say, okay, this is the reason
Indeed.
why, indeed, you are protesting. And it's really important because we do not want a situation where the local governments turn out not to be the persons the people want, but rather the person maybe one
The
or two
party
godfathers want. You get my point. So
There's man of the people, there is man of the party.
and we understand to a great extent that the local government is the closest form of government to the people. So it is really, really vital. And we're at a point where we're talking local government autonomy and how it will work. So many things is so much involved in. It's not just all about the primaries. It's not just all about that, because at the end of the day, whatever happens in the primaries, it's not really what will determine what happens in the main election. With the main election now, there are different parties, different candidates, and the people will get to choose who they want at the end of the day. So it might not even be the APC, it might not be the PDP, it might not be the Labour Party, it might be any other party of their choice, depending on their locality and who they see fit to be in charge of their local government. So everything needs to be sparkling clean. Everything needs to be done in the books. Above the nameplates this morning, at the very top, it says Nigeria's FX inflow under threat as US mulls 5% tax on diaspora remittances. That's the we find on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Underneath it, Nigeria's leaders undermining national security. Who's saying this? Tony Nyam. That story you can find on page 34. Beside it, over 100 military personnel, 200 civilians killed in 5 months. This is a report. You see that report on page 6 of the Vanguard newspaper. There's a rider to it, which you can find on page 9. And it says, as Boko Haram again raids 2 military formations in Borno, kills 5 soldiers, injures 6. Sad one. Really sad one. If our military bases are not safe, then how are the communities going to be safe? If our military bases could be raided, soldiers could be, killed on their own base, a place that's meant to be formidable, a place that's meant to
Sacred.
practically impregnable. It's their base. If they can be attacked there and soldiers can be killed there, how can the common community that has been, protected by 2 or 3 vigilantes with their hunter guns, how then can they keep...
How did they resist them?
How can they even keep them safe? How many have they resisted? We've seen states in Benue State. In Benue State, we've seen communities that have been ransacked. In Plateau State, the same thing. Go to the southeast, some people can go back to the location they've been at before because some communities have been disturbed over the past few days. So, how then can the people feel safe if the military that is meant to keep them safe can't even keep themselves safe? Just like when we complain about power companies using generators, and you wonder how then you are going to get power in the first place. Okay. Moving on. Conference hall, experts brainstorm on government performance at midterm today. You find this story on page 5. Does it need a brainstorm to say how government has performed? Do we really need to brainstorm? On the sports corner of the Vanguard newspaper this morning, Egypt 2025, Zubairu promises a more composed Flying Eagles against South Africa. That story you find on page 44. They'll be meeting for the semi-finals of the Under-20 AFCON. Good luck to the Flying Eagles. That's the much we can take for Vanguard this morning.
And we're from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. We're touching base with the Daily Trust newspaper. And the lead story on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning is going to start from where you left off just a couple minutes ago, talking about Boko Haram killing soldiers in renewed onslaught on military bases. That is the major headline on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Says Boko Haram kills 4 soldiers in renewed onslaught on military bases. Suspected Boko Haram terrorists have launched a coordinated attack on 3 military bases in Karo Gajira Dikwa in Borno State, killing at least 4 soldiers in the process, just like we mentioned. And there's a image right here talking about the attacked locations. There's a part of Borno State, like I mentioned, there's Gajiram, there's Dikwa, and also there's Ranin right there. All are within the Borno State, but definitely not within the state capital. And this distance and the proximity of the attack to the state capital is more like one was, I think, 82 kilometers. The other one was 171 kilometers, and the third one was just 90 kilometers. So this is to tell you how close this thing is to the state capital itself. And honestly, it looks like if this is being slept on a whole lot, we might be having the handful on our hands once again. This insurgent or alleged Boko Haram members might just be coming into the city more and more every day and then.
Don't we have a handful already? I think our hands are filled up already. The question is, if it continues, would we have to use our legs now? Because it's no longer be a handful. Because already as it is, it's a handful. Where you have communities are already ransacked, you have people who can't go back to their homes. They're in IDP camps for about a decade now. That's a handful. You have the paper is talking about a particular state. It is a handful. So right now it's a situation whereby we are supposed to put a security in a state of emergency. The security situation in Nigeria is something that deserves to be in a state of emergency. It needs to be apt. We need to be on our feet, every single one of us, even as individuals. We need to be on our feet. Wherever the location you find yourself, you need to be on your feet because the security situation is a bit higher than we thought. Yes, it's worse in some parts of Nigeria,
than the other.
No doubt about that.
I mean, they are more like fresh attacks, even in some states that are more or less not all that rampant, but we are hearing of the news every now and then. I think, was it late last month, we heard about the current onslaught in some part of Kwara State as well.
Of course.
That is like the North Central.
Of course. And those were things that were done constantly for days. Mahuma, I can't remember the name. I think Mahuma, that was the organization that were accused.
Involved in that one.
For that one. And we might be thinking, okay, yes, it's not happening right at this part of us, or it's not happening wherever some persons are, but it's increasing daily by daily.
Whether we like it or not.
And so if those things keep happening in those places, most of those people might need to move somewhere else where it's safer. Is that not so? Which is here. And once insurgents are done with places where they see that, okay, there's no more persons to disturb because almost everybody has moved, they will move to where the people are. So at the end of the day, we are not safe. We need to curb it now.
Even in the city.
It's not. You saw the army bases. You were the one who mentioned the kilometers close to city centers in Borno State. So we are not safe. If we think because it's not happening close to us that we are safe, it's not true. We need to start speaking up. We need, as Nigerians, to start talking more about it. We need to start pushing each government to do more about it.
When it comes to
security and prevent it from happening here. Because yes, it might not be happening now, but the security needs to
I was
be
having
on
a conversation with someone that was who actually brought about the Kwara State tone. So this person was looking to more or less relocate back to, go to Ilori because the person got a job leaving Lagos and going to Ilorin. And then this person was like, so I was trying to encourage the person, like, oh, okay, Ilorin is cool, come and guess the first thing this person is going to tell me. It's not the same Ilorin that we are hearing. I'll be like, no, I mean, this is not like the city where these things happen are more like, the
villages,
the suburbs. Talk about more or less like the highways. That's where you have all of these things happening. But imagine this person having that notion, another person also having that, and then you start correcting. How many of the citizens do you want to start, explain all of these things to? Like, no, it's not the way you think about it. We know there's insecurity, but trust is not going to get to one part. It's just in one part.
Well,
sickening.
How would a person believe when the person is thinking, okay,
am I even safe?
Am I safe?
Imagine you getting a job in a particular location and the first thing on your mind is, God,
is it safe to go to?
Help me.
It never used to be this way. It never used to be. But, things will get better is what we believe.
Yeah.
And the only way it will get better is for actions to start taking place.
All right, we're from that story right now, still on the Daily Trust newspaper, and just above, beneath the lead image I talked about right now, it says, Lamido and I would have changed Tinubu if we were governors. Guess who that is coming from? Rotimi Amechi, and that one is on page 5 of the Daily Trust newspaper. It says Lamido and I would have challenged Tinubu if we were governors. What is this trying to insinuate? That the current set of governors are not challenging the presidency enough? Okay. Still on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, says Rivers women protest abduction of 8 students traveling for the West African Senior School Certificate examination. I mean, they've written WAEC like months ago now.
It's not everywhere. Some WAEC still going on. I think even in the southeast, there is a possibility. There are complaints because May 30th by IPOB, they declared it an IPOB day, and that day there's supposed to be WAEC exam. So there's issues. So yeah, WAEC still going on in some states.
Okay, so Rivers women protest abduction of 8 students traveling for the West African Senior School Certificate examination, and just beside that one, as Qatar gifts Trump $400 million jet. Wow. Qatar gives Trump $400 million jet. There's also another story that says kidnappers invade FCT community, kills 3, abduct 1. We were just talking about one now. Then you have another one just beneath that. Kidnappers invade Federal Capital Territory community, kill 3, abduct 1. And beneath the nameplate of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, how to prevent sudden death in people over 60. That's on the page 25 of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. And beside that says, Reps reject bill on rotational presidency. Reps reject bill on rotational presidency. Beside that, also has to do with the plenary from yesterday. And says tax reform, Senate endorses 5% excise duty. Tax reform, Senate endorses 5% excise duty. And that's it on the Daily Trust newspaper for this morning.
Okay, the Daily Trust newspaper, and of course, plenty more stories that we have for you before we go, but there's still plenty of time for that. Let's go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll be looking at the rest of the papers for this morning.
Put a touch of class and finesse on your brand by advertising with us at High Impact 1021 FM. For more information, call
0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, or 0902 745 3931.
Follow us on our social media platforms at High Impact 1021 FM. Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
It's a powerful feeling you can't quite put into words. Transformative, overwhelming, awe-inspiring. Can you feel it? That palpable energy? Get ready for a night where the praise goes up and your spirit soars. High Impact Praise Blast is coming.
Take all of my praise and adoration.
A concert experience packed with high energy powerful worship, passionate praise, and overflowing thanksgiving. We're reloading the praise. Get ready for High Praise Reloaded. Save the date, Friday, the 26th of December, 2025. Venue, High Impact Planet Road, Kilometer 12, Lagos Ibadan Expressway, opposite MFM Prayer City, Ibafo. Time, 7 p.m. For more inquiries, please call 0706 393 5694 or 08104 229 9509. An electrifying night like this is not one that you want to miss. High Impact Praise Blast. Get ready to ignite your fire. Fire.
You are the most like a shaman.
Are you looking for an avenue to blast your brand? Why not let us be your detonator at High Impact Radio 102.1 FM with Got You Covered. For advert placement, sponsorship, partnership, call us on 0706 393 5694 0915 958 1881 0902 745 3931 or send an email to info@highimpactstudio.com.
Hello there. Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Welcome back. In case you are just joining us on the show, we have gone halfway into it. Two papers have been looked at. We're talking about the Daily Trust and the Vanguard newspaper this morning. So we still have the Punch and the Guardian. And of course, you can always be a part of the conversation. Call us up on 0704 425 2109. I take that one more time, 0704 425 2109. Or reach us via WhatsApp and the regular text message on 0907 224 5018 0907 224 5018. We're live on YouTube at iImpact 102.1 FM. So hey, go stream on our YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, click on the notification button so you know whenever we are live right here in the studio. From the Daily Trust straight to the Guardian newspaper this morning. National Security Summit. Stakeholders reject plan, flays stalled proposals, high military casualties. Page 6 is where you will see that story at, and security is the biggest deal right now in Nigeria, as so many things are the biggest deal. The economy, health, education, everything seems to be on a spiral downward. But we will rise. We will definitely rise. Beside the image of the president, the Senate president, the National Security Advisor, the Chief of Army Staff, and the IG, we see UNICEF inks 50% of childhood death in Nigeria to malnutrition.
Okay.
And this we have to talk about. And I say we have to talk about it because a certain time I posted on my status, on my WhatsApp status, and I said in 10 years, the amount of malnourished kids that are going to be in Nigeria are going to be a huge number. And someone, replied me and said in 10 years, that's already happening. And I say so because growing up as a child, even things were not too rosy and all of that. I could remember, even though there were days where the timetable was Gary, and they will give me like 10 naira to buy any assistance of my choice. When I mean assistance, Gary,
assistance.
Yeah, it's assistance now. There's kuli or granite and all of that. It wasn't like a normal timetable. It's not like it's a big deal. Gary is nice and all of that.
Yeah.
But there was always egg on the side, because our parents always felt like, okay, at least you eat eggs a day. Yeah. You need to have all this nourishment. It was always available. But can they do that now?
You know how much a crate of egg is?
5,200. for 300 naira per egg. 300 naira. Like,
I remember, I mean, I'm young, yeah, but we bought egg for around close to 50 naira at the time.
I bought it for less at one time. And so you wonder some of those things, and you try to imagine if it's easy for these people to eat well nourished. We still talk about times where I'm one person who eats roadside things a lot. And when I mean roadside stuff, you could be roasting corns, you could be boiling corns, pears, all of that. I patronize and I just sit by the roadside and
for
just,
the culture.
You understand me? But now you just can't do that, because you might just want to sit down and just patronize, and you're spending about 152k for things that are just normal thing for you.
So you'll be like, why didn't I just walk into a
why
restaurant?
don't I just go eat something for myself? These things are making basic things feel like luxury now.
Yes.
And so for kids who do not grow up in our time where these things were easier to get, it is luxury for them now.
They feel like this is the normal.
It is luxury for them now. So you give them eggs now. Oh man, it's huge. Go to see the Scotch eggs, or no, the egg rolls. Let me not call them Scotch eggs, because it's not egg. It's really the
It's not Scotch.
The egg rolls that have been done. Yeah.
Yeah.
They now have the ones whereby they have to put
half the egg. Yeah.
It's not even up to half now. They now go to quarters now, and they now, like, you don't even see.
Like you sprinkled in.
I one time tried. I wanted to find out, because she was like, "Oh,
yeah.
this one is egg roll." You say this egg roll is for 100 naira. Like, oh, 100 naira egg roll.
Yeah.
How much is eggs? So I really wanted to find out what was all about.
Yeah.
Then I opened it,
and there was literally nothing.
It was like, you know when you cut off the head and only a bit of the yolk
is there.
Stained it. Not like it's there. It stained it. Really.
Jeez.
It makes no sense. At one certain time, egg roll is for like about 15 naira, and you see a full egg in it.
Definitely.
For 15 naira.
Yeah, definitely.
So even at that, kids could easily buy that, and just on a normal day, they're just going to school, they're eating eggs without eating it in their normal food. So, but now, can they do that? How many of them can do that? For parents to even give you meal in the morning now, it's going to cost them about 1,000 naira. Do you think it's eggs they'll be thinking about to give to you?
Or just to make sure that you eat and you're satisfied?
Do you think it's apples they will buy now to put in your lunchbox? We're being told when growing up that after you finish eating, you have to eat fruits and all of that. Fruits? Even fruits now is as expensive as the food itself. So malnutrition. It's something that, even if I am a believer that it's not that deep yet, although so many people have tried to, open my eyes that it's deeper, and the UNICEF now showing me more insight that it's deeper. But I have a fear in a decade's time to come, it will be way worse because of the things we're seeing right now. The basics now feel like luxury. Underneath that one, UTME, 19-year-old commits suicide in Lagos over low score. Oof, that one is sad. That one is really, really sad. That story you find on page 9. Underneath it, Egypt lauds Adesina for transforming Africa. That story you find on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. You get to see Adesina right there on the front page. The president of the AFDB, as well with the president of Egypt, Abdul Fattah el-Shai. And so that is one thing that you need to go look at on the Guardian newspaper this morning. Beside that one, Nigeria must walk, says Obasanjo, as Lamido seeks closure to June 12 saga. That story you can find on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Above it, Nigerians brace for impact as US proposes 5% tax on remittances. You find that story on page 2. So in case they don't send money home to you as often as they used to, that might be because there's a proposer. That is, if the proposer passes and it goes to law, people might just reduce how often they send money back home, because 5% tax on any money they send, reduction, And so in case that happens, in case it passes to law, don't be so sad with your people in the US.
I mean, right now, a lot of people are even, I saw this particular debate on the street of X a couple days ago where some sort of persons were like, Nigerians are so much entitled to some of their relatives who are out of the shores of the country when it comes to they actually, coming through for them or helping them. This person gave an instance that at a point that she sent, I think, was it £50 or £100? And this person had to calculate it for her in there. Like, you just sent me 50,000 naira, you are making up to $1 million in a month. I just be like, okay, fine, I'm making up to $1 million, but you know how many bills I have to sort, and then I'm still looking to cover this to help here as well. So now that there's more like a 5% increment in it, bro.
Well,
just a BYS to reasoning from.
Well, it's not yet passed into law. It's a proposal. It's the US as well. The UK, I don't think. So in case you have more people in the UK, maybe they can happen. But talking about what you just said now, what many people need to understand is the fact that £50 in the UK is huge for someone in the UK.
Okay.
And they need to understand that in as much as you're converting the money, the person is not spending the money in Naira in the UK, he's spending money in pounds. So if the person is making maybe £2,000 a month, definitely in your eyes is huge money.
Huge money, yeah, definitely.
But in the person's eyes, in terms of bills, in terms of taxes paid, in terms of things that they'll get to sort, it might not be enough. Because
to even get them through the next month. That's why a lot of them work multiple jobs.
The truth of the matter is, you can't even earn so much and maybe live some sort of low life, where a situation whereby you can go work. You could be in Nigeria and decide that okay, you're working in a huge place that you're making millions and millions, and decide to come live in
like maybe the KPMGs.
Yes, and decide to come live in maybe environments where rents are cheaper and all of that. I don't think it works that way. There, your earnings sometimes determine the kinds of locations where you are going to stay. So most of the time, it's not that easy for them. As they work, they pay bills round over and over and over. The UK's plan and its system is so deep that it is difficult for you to just be rich. You will survive, you will make money, but are you wealthy? Are you rich? That is now another different ball game. So Nigerians need to understand this part, that these people are earning in that currency doesn't mean
that they are millionaires yet.
That they're millionaires. Look at them in the eyes of that currency. Just look at it that way, that it's not that much. And so maybe, and yes, many Nigerians are entitled. We're talking about the ones that are even entitled to the ones, people's money that are with them at home. Just because you're working and he is not working, is entitled to the fact that you need to help him pay bills. More or less someone who's outside the shores
of the country.
Entitlements everywhere, man. Just underneath the nameplate, Ganduje wife offers to face prosecution as court rejects application over alleged fraud. That's the we find on page 30. Beside it, Nigeria loses $18 billion to illicit financial flows as debt servicing gobs 70% of revenue. Page 3 is where you will see that one. And finally, on the Guardian newspaper, Reps rejects bill proposing rotational presidency. You find that story on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper, and that's the Guardian for this morning.
And away from the Guardian newspaper this morning, don't forget, can be part of the show. 0704 425 2109 0704 425 2109 is the gateway to the studio. You can send us your message on WhatsApp, maybe a regular text message on 0907 224 5018 0907 224-5018 is the gateway to the studio. Straight into the Punch newspaper this morning. Major headline on the Punch newspaper is saying mass failure, JAMB vice chancellors to review UTME result on Thursday. Well, all hands in glove. I'm sure a lot of Nigerians will want to see what the outcome of this is going to be like. As says JAMB vice chancellors to review UTME results Thursday, and the writer to that story is saying rectors, provosts, principals, examiners to meet JAMB chiefs. Candidates decry result discrepancies. Honestly, it looks like for the first time in a long time, they are taking this issue of JAMB so serious.
Well, it's to be expected. The uproar was, crazy and all of that.
And I think it was least expected.
Well,
because I mean, just like I think we were on the show together on Monday, and we're talking about this kind of thing. Definitely, this is not the first time it's happening. This is not even the lowest of the results we've seen in recent times. But then looks like a whole different ball game right now, because everyone just wants to know what's happening. Why has it been happening like that? Some are blaming the students, some are blaming the exam board itself, some are blaming the educational sector. But yes, let's wait to see what the outcome of this particular meeting is going to bear on Thursday. Then we'll know exactly what has happened or where it has gone wrong. Hopefully, there's not going to be some shady outcome from that particular whoop that they are straight and factual with Nigerians right now, because lives are being lost already. You can see students already taking their own lives because they feel like, since I could not pass my jam, then the next thing is to commit suicide. I mean, you just mentioned the story on the Guardian newspaper earlier on the show. Imagine a 19-year-old thinking that the result or the only thing that could pacify the fact that he or she failed UTME is to take his or her own life.
It's really sad. Hopefully something pans out in all of it. But I am more of the opinion our education system needs
to be revamping.
Our education system needs reinvesting. Our education system needs a rejig, a complete overhaul.
It's archaic.
It needs a complete overhaul. It just needs to change. It needs to meet with today's world. It's different from when we were before, and it needs to upgrade. Our students need to be taught better, and above it all, they need to see that the results for gaining an education means you can actually gain success from it. But the percentage does not tell the story right now, which is the major problem we're facing.
All right, away from that story right now, the lead image on the Punch newspaper this one is talking about Tinubu, Akpabio, and other governors paying their last and final respect to Edwin Clark. The images are coming through from the Delta State government. Still on the Punch newspaper this morning, just beneath the lead image says cash transfer missed millions of needy Nigerians. That's according to World Bank. Cash transfer missed millions of needy Nigerians, according to World Bank. Yeah, I recall on Monday we were talking about this particular story and the percentage that has been, rolled out already. I think, was it 25% that have gotten to 25,000 homes, or I think we talked about it.
Yeah, we did. Where they said 5.4 million households received
25,000 naira.
25,000 once. 3 point something received it twice, and 1 point something million households received it 3 times. And
now the World Bank is coming out to tell us that millions of the needy Nigerians did not even get this cash transfer. So who were those who got the statistics that we are getting?
Well, it's what we're talking about. And I remember we were also confirming that how exactly was the matrix used
the parameter
to even determine that these persons who got it are the most needy of those sets. In my books, I think even the most needy might not even have bank accounts. Many of them I don't even think have bank accounts. So how do you even do the cash transfers in the first place? Because I come across so many people who come in need, and many of them do not have bank accounts. So how do you determine those ones who are the major ones who need them? Are you looking at environments? There are some people living in urban centers, city centers, who are in dire need of money. They can't even feed because they're living in uncompleted buildings in city centers. They're living in places in shanties and all of that. How were they part of the needed people who really needed this money? Were they given this money? So how are we really going to know? So it's important. We actually need to stop the entirety of giving cash transfers until we have an actual figure or a database of every single person in Nigeria and know their lifestyle to a great extent. We know if you have a job, if you do not have a job. There needs to be a sound database. We need to have our NIN working as what it's meant to work for. It's not just a registration or thingy and all of that, which nowadays we see it's becoming a revenue collection agency too, because now for you to edit and do some other things on NIN, you need to pay a certain amount of money. Every organization now wants to be a remitting organization, wants to be, but hopefully they work optimally to that extent.
All right.
It needs to do more.
Okay.
It needs to do more.
More needs to be done in that particular sphere as well. Still on the Punch newspaper this morning, says Obasa APC protesters clash over local government primary outcome. That's talking about the primary local government elections that will be happening right here in Lagos State next month. This is Obasa APC protesters clash over local government primary outcome. That's on page 34 of the Punch newspaper for this morning. Still on the front page of the Punch newspaper says United States shares Wigwe's helicopter crash report with the federal government. United States have shared Wigwe's helicopter crash report with the federal government. Remember Albert Wigwe, the late chairman of Access Bank. And above the nameplate of the Punch newspaper this morning says political firefight. Saraki panel mobilizes PDP bigwigs against defections. Yes, looks like this man wants to be the what's the best word to use now?
The savior, the hero.
The man in the middle, yes, the one who is going to put the strings together for the People's Democratic Party moving forward.
They need someone to do that.
Yeah, Saraki panel mobilizes PDP bigwigs against defection, and that story is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And beside that says fuel import ban fears reignites Dangote and marketers row. Fuel import bans fears reignite Dangote marketers row. That's on page 36 of the Punch newspaper for this morning. You want more on that particular story? Yes. I know you'll be interested since it's about fuel, it's about Dangote, and it's about the marketers, because that row has been on for a number of months now. And yeah, I don't want to say it's interesting, but definitely not entertaining to a lot of us, because we don't want to hear it. We hear about price slashes, but then it's really not, reflecting on the day-to-day living of the average Nigerian. In the business news this morning, it says 9 banks earn 2.3 trillion interest on 61.6 trillion naira loans. Wow. Well, that update is coming from the Central Bank of Nigeria, and there's the image of Olayemi Cardoso, who is the chairman of the Central Bank of Nigeria. 9 banks earn 2.3 trillion naira interest on 61.6 trillion naira loans. Wow, amazing. And beside the nameplate of the Punch newspaper this morning, which is going to be the last story on the Punch newspaper, is saying federal government voided June 12 to avoid paying Abiola 45 billion naira. That's according to Lamido. Federal government voided June 12 to avoid paying Abiola 45 billion naira. That's according to Lamido. And that's it on the Punch newspaper for this morning.
Impact Radio 102.1 FM. The Punch newspaper is the last paper for the morning today. And of course, it's our week holiday day on today's edition of the newspaper review, where we have analyzed all of the stories that made front page in some of the dailies that we have with us today. What's important, I leave you with this. Every single day, we talk about the challenges we face as Nigerians. We talk about, the conditions of things in the country. And every single day, we hope and pray things get better. But it's important. It's really, really important as Nigerians, we begin to actively participate in the things that help Nigeria get better. And why one of the things that I am more particular at today is the business of governance. As Nigerians, we need to be more interested in participating in the business of governance. As Nigerians, you shouldn't, discard politics and think it's not for you. As every single day, your life is determined by political choices and political decisions. So it means no matter how you run away from it, no matter how you dislodge it, no matter how you hate it, it will always decide how your life will be determined. Whether you're in Nigeria, whether you're out of Nigeria, in no part of the world you go to, political decisions will decide how your life will be lived. So it's important as everyday Nigerians we start participating actively in political activities that will help Nigeria grow. If you believe you are a better man, if you believe you are a better person, go into politics. Try to show better lights. Try to shine better lights. Try to be a better person in midst of those who you think are not better than you. at what they are doing. Try to be the better person, and who knows, once we have more persons who feel they are better, more good individuals as the case may be, in that political space, maybe, just maybe, we will start seeing better people becoming leaders of this great nation, Nigeria. This is how we call it an end on today's edition of the Newspaper Review right on Impact Radio 102.1 FM. My name is Uche Okori. I'll be here for the Thursday edition tomorrow. Until then, have yourself a beautiful Wednesday.
And I am Ayodeji Ajiboye. I'll tell you to go out there and be the best version of yourself. Don't forget to be kind, because kindness is the new currency. Good morning. Have a blessed and highly favored Wednesday.
Hello there. Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station.